Hi, this is Brad with Baker County Trash Pickup. I did miss last week. I just had a busy week with some extra projects, so I apologize for that. We also just had Hurricane Helene come through, I think Thursday night, and so Friday we were busy cleaning up and dealing with that. Thankfully, we didn't get hit directly. We had a lot of wind and some rain. I think we probably got more wind than rain. But the only damage we had was I forgot to properly store a ladder outside, and it fell and broke the glass on one of my wife's patio tables. So I'm in the doghouse for that. But aside from that, no damage. Today's episode is a special one. I have my wife here with me answering your questions. I recently made a community post asking for your questions for her. There's a few questions in there that I think I can handle. Eamon Guy says, Brad's better half, you should trade places, let him drive and you do the cans. I don't think I'd ever feel comfortable with that. Like, I wouldn't feel like I was doing my duty as a husband if I made her get out and sling trash while I drove. That would be like if she helped me in lawn care, if I sat on the mower and mowed and made her string trim and edge and blow everything off. Like, I wouldn't feel like that was okay for me to do. Oh, I'm sure I'm going to get some kind of feminist somewhere saying, it's not your job to protect, whatever. Look, I'm not passing judgment on whatever you want to feel. I'm saying for me, that's unacceptable. I don't care if you make your wife sling trash while you drive in a truck all day, but I'm not going to do it.
I feel like I have the easy job too, because I don't have to get out of the car.
Trevor says, how did you manage to get her? I honestly don't remember. It's been 15 years. So I can't tell you. And then Creekside Fire and Iron wants to know how she puts up with me. That as well. I don't have an answer.
That's difficult.
Yes. Repair Gang wants to know, why is Brad bald? I think it's because of dealing with Kendall for 15 years. And Carolyn Greenwell says, hi, Mrs. Brad. Nice to meet you. You've been sort of a hidden presence for years now. Us regulars all knew you were there, but never heard anything directly from you. What's it like to come out of the shadows?
That's a great question. So I don't like being on camera or video. It was difficult for me to allow him to take a photo. Did I feel comfortable with it? Absolutely not. And I'm still not comfortable with it. So I'm not sure how much you'll see me again.
Yeah, I had to, after 7 or 8 years of having a YouTube channel, she finally let me put a picture of her on a community post. Maybe in another decade, you'll see her on camera. Now we'll move into some general business questions. Mr. Isaac Roth had a very good one. Dear Mrs. Baker County Trash Pickup, Brad has clearly taken a lot of business risks over the years, quitting a stable job to do YouTube, lawn care, retention pond mowing, and now the trash business. This type of risk isn't always easy on families or marriages. How do you stay centered and supportive, and what advice do you have for men to help their spouse feel safe in the major business risks they feel called to do?
I mean, it's really scary to start something new, but I feel like communication is really important. As long as both of you are on the same page, that's really important as well. I think Brad does a great job explaining what his intentions are when going into new things. So that makes me feel a little bit better with the risks that we're taking. And we have, a good dialogue about it. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to feel okay with the decision. I just need more information.
Mr. Nick 97, I think this one's a little bit along those same lines. To Mrs. Brad's wife, my wife just left her job to be a full-time stay-at-home mom with our newborn twins. When you left your job to work with your husband, how did you manage the uncertainty? I too am self-employed and own and operate a lawn care company.
Well, first of all, congratulations. I know that's a big deal to have newborn twins, but it was really difficult for me to leave my job. I worked at Florida Blue for 14 years, and that was basically my first job, my first real job out of college. And I had been used to, paying for everything and being independent. And leaving was mentally hard for me, but my job was difficult. I had to use a lot of brain power to do it. I would leave work and I'd be exhausted. That was nice, not having to deal with that anymore. Having that extra money is also nice. So I guess the uncertainty part of it is what Brad was talking about. We managed our finances. We didn't spend a lot on things that we didn't need. So that helped with the uncertainty of it, is just not overspending. that is also difficult to wrap your mind around when you've had a job for so long and you're used to a paycheck coming in every other week. I mean, there are a lot of benefits to working, but not having to get up and go to work, every day is amazing. And even now, I even feel like sometimes, Brad, I need to get a job, part-time job, and he's like, "No, spend that time helping me." Um, this happened a few weeks ago. I mean, it's not, I don't know if that'll ever go away, feeling like I need to make money, but hopefully it does. But as of right now, it's kind of in the back of my mind. But I think we're okay for now. So I just take it day by day.
Brad Newcomb, nice first name, wants to know, what's it like working with Brad? Does he buy too many toys or is he responsible?
Well, I'll take the first question. So I love working with him. I like hanging out with him for the most part. He's really funny. I'm the quiet one, but I do I do appreciate the banter um with him during the day on Monday when we take out the trash truck. So I do like it. And it's not difficult. I'm just driving around all day. So, does he buy too many toys? Or is he responsible? Most of it's justified for the business, 99% of it. He does buy a lot of stuff for the business, but it goes back into the business. I would definitely say he's responsible with it. If he feels like it might be a question as to whether I think it's a good purchase or not, he'll come to me and ask me. And then we talk about it and then he'll decide from there. I wouldn't say he's got a lot of extra toys. I mean, we don't have any room for extra things. Our whole entire garage is, well, it's looking better, but it's got mowers and I don't know if the Ventrax stuff is still in there, but
In the
he's
garage, yeah.
yeah, so it's got stuff for his business in there. So I wouldn't call that toys.
There,
I do think it's a lot of things,
yeah.
a lot of tools. Some of my stuff's in there too.
Now for more trash business questions. Was it exciting for you when Brad came to you with this idea of a trash business? I'm going to answer.
No.
My guess is no, it was stressful.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I started off by saying I was going to buy a almost $300,000 truck.
So, yeah, first of all, my grandpa was really sick and I had been taking care of him this past year. And he came to me right as it was getting worse from my grandpa.
I did.
Yes, he did.
Brad.
So that was really the last thing I wanted to talk about or think about. But then I'm like, oh, I can't have him spending. How much was that one truck?
Yeah, so
was it $260?
It was.
I was never comfortable with that, even though I wouldn't be the one. At that point, I don't think I would have been helping him because he never asked me to do it. But the debt that we would have taken on for it really, really freaked me out.
I didn't ask you for, I wouldn't have asked you for help because the whole idea was if I buy this truck, I'll be self-sufficient and I can do it myself and I won't need employees or anything like that.
Yeah. So all I knew was I was taking care of my grandpa and I don't want to even think about this right now. I mean, anybody who's ever taken care of somebody that's sick understands like it's difficult to put your mind elsewhere when you're trying to take care of somebody. But that being said, it was a heck no for the truck. And then I think we went up camping in May to visit our family in Pennsylvania, and he kept talking about the truck, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to do this. And at one point, I just got fed up with it, and I just stopped responding because it was stressing me out. Because my grandfather was still alive at that point. He's since passed in July. But anyways, I was like, that's it. I can't, I don't want to be looking as an unsupportive wife, which is, well, I was being unsupportive because I didn't want that debt. But I didn't feel comfortable with our family taking that on, especially when he only had, I think at that point, 10 customers.
No, I didn't even have any. This was before it even started.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. You know what? I might have done some pre-sales. If it was May, I probably had some pre-sales because I started picking up in June.
He had what? Just under 10 maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Pre-sales, and he's talking about buying this super expensive truck. And
It would have been between $3,000 and $4,000 a month in that truck.
yeah,
payment.
so my thought of it was, why don't you see if you like it first and then commit to a truck? Because at that point, we didn't even know if people would even be signing up past that amount. So I was very worried about taking that on. And finally, I just came out with it and said, I'm not okay with this, and just explained to him how I was feeling about it. And then he's like, okay, let me think about this. So then he came up with the idea of buying the dump trailer using his truck. But then I would have to help him. I'd be the driver, which that didn't pan out either because, well, I can't see over the steering wheel of that truck. So I think I tried driving it for 5 minutes, and he's like, "Get out," because I mean, it was like going into a cul-de-sac, and I would have had to back up and do all this maneuvering that I really don't know how to do. So, at that point, him driving and me doing the Jobber app with all the locations was the easiest thing. But okay, I went off on a tangent. So how do I like my new job as a garbage truck driver?
No, that's not it.
Which one is it?
The question was just, was it exciting for you when Brad
okay,
came
sorry.
to the
I lost my place.
So that's a long way to say
no. I think, him starting out with the 260 truck and then going down to the 135 truck made a big difference. So if anybody's thinking about proposing this to his wife or whoever, start with the big guy and then go down.
Yeah, so what she's saying is if you're trying to convince him of some business purchase, just go outlandish, like, I found a mower that's $50,000 I want to buy. And then they'll be like, no, that's ridiculous. And then you can be like, okay, well, here's one for $7,000. And they'll just be like, oh, yeah, that's a lot more reasonable. A Nomad Alaska says, what's your favorite and least favorite things about this new venture?
My least favorite things are the smell. Even the menthol doesn't really help for
Nobody
too long.
knows what the menthol is.
Oh, so Brad bought us some menthol to put in our nose or around our
Vicks Vapo
whatever.
Yeah.
Smell, and it you can still smell the trash through it, but it's not as bad, but it doesn't last that long. So I guess my least favorite thing is the smell, and also we have to get up now at 4:30 in the morning, which I absolutely hate. But it's okay.
We're probably going to have to start getting up earlier too as we get more clients.
Yeah, so those are my two least favorite things about it. The work is easy because, like I said, I just drive. I don't really do anything else.
No, you run that Jobber app.
Oh yeah,
that does take some attention, because she's got to start. She's got to start a timer when we pull up and when she parks it. She's got to stop a timer, complete a job when I'm done, and then she's got to pull up the next stop, which takes a couple of swipes.
It's difficult in the morning because it's really dark too. Because I have to press some buttons in the trash truck as well. So sometimes I have to put my flashlight on my phone because I can't see. I have to hit like a PTO button, a work light button, the Jobber app, and it's pitch dark outside. That's difficult for me to see because I can't see very well in the dark. But my favorite thing, I mean, I like hanging out with Brad. So that's like one-on-one time that we get with no kids, unless they call, which that happens a lot too. But I mean, that's probably my favorite part about it is spending time with my husband.
Yeah, I think we're going to sound real sappy, but I think that is probably part of what makes this job something I look forward to every week. Like when we get together, we are really stupid and silly, and we'll, Kendall is shy, but when you get her start talking, she'll say some really funny stuff. And so generally we have a pretty good time.
Ooh, I thought of one more thing I like. So I like to see all the animals on our route. So we have cows and goats and ducks, chickens, and cats, rabbits, a buffalo, horses. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. I can't believe I forgot that. I like to see all these animals.
We live in a rural area, so not only is there, especially in the very early mornings, you can see some wildlife. We saw a deer one time.
Yeah, armadillos, possum.
Yeah, a lot of people have animals as well, so we get to see all kinds. Eddie, Trucking Adventures, how do you cope with the work to at home work? I guess he means like work-life balance.
That's never been easy for me. um, I just said in the last answer, we do homeschool, every day with 2 kids, 2 different grades. So I have to organize that and then help them out with that pretty much until the afternoon. And then I'm in charge of all the food in the house and pretty much all the cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a balance. It's just get stuff done when I can. So now me working outside of the home on Monday, it's not affecting much now because I give the kids stuff to do and they can get it done without me. But it is taking, we get home at what it takes us like
a little before lunchtime.
Yeah, so we get home and then he's got to clean and I have to shower, get ready. And then we do lunch for the kids and then, I do lunch for the kids and for me and Brad and I. And then I help the kids with whatever school they couldn't do while I was gone.
Yeah, so at least for the... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so right now it doesn't affect me as much because we only work one day. I only work one day with him. So, and I can make that up, in the afternoon.
Kenneth wants to know how many days per week of trash pickup would you be willing to do?
I don't know. Definitely not 5.
No, I don't think I'd want to do 5 either. Like right now, we're kind of at, I think, well, I'll let you answer.
I don't really have an answer. There's not a need to do more than 1 right now, so I'm not sure what my answer would be. I'm hoping that 2 is all we need to do, like 2 full days eventually, and then that'll be enough to pay the truck off and pay our bills.
Mm-hmm. This is a good question. Jason K. Atten. Jason, how are you dealing with the trash company takeover of your house? I noticed that with Brad's truck, the Copper Creek Cuts trailer, and the trash truck, and don't forget the trash trailer, you have no space for a car of your own. Does that cause struggle for you?
Yes, it does. And we also have a camper in the backyard. So yeah, it does cause
and you've also
visible struggle for me.
100 trash cans on your patio.
There's
right
orange
there.
Trash cans glaring in our backyard.
When the sunrise comes in, it looks like everything's on fire because it reflects the orange trash can light into our house. Yeah,
you really need some sunglasses to walk past them. So yeah, everything's taking over. So I'm hoping these cans get sold quickly so I can have my backyard back. Trying to get rid of the trailer because we don't really need, the dump trailer, the first one that we purchased, because we're not using it. So that's just kind of sitting around. We have a family car. We have a van. So sometimes we have to park on the street. Sometimes we can make it work in the driveway. But I don't like walking in the grass when I have shoes on, and I have to do that because I know that sounds so prissy, but
first world problems.
I'm not really a prissy girl, but I don't like walking in the grass with my tennis shoes or heels. And I have to do that because the trash truck is blocking our sidewalk to go to the front door. So that is something I really don't like because I have white sneakers, so I don't like them to get dirty. It gives me anxiety when I go in the garage just because there's so much stuff in there, and I know it'll get better. He's working on it, like I said, so
it's usually never clean though. I'm not very good about putting tools back when I use them. I kind of just throw them on the ground.
I have a cabinet in there that I like to paint. Not like
artistically.
Not artistically. I like to paint my house walls a lot, probably more than people normally do, but I like to change the colors, like every 4 or 5 years. So I have paint in there from the baseboards, from having to fix some of the ceiling paint. So I recently had to go in there and get something, and I had to do a closet, so I had to go over there, and I had to walk over like 10 Ventrac accessories without getting cut by some crazy, I don't know, what's that? What is it?
Oh, we aren't allowed to talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll just bleep it out.
Okay. Well, Okay. Anyways, I have to basically, try to get to my cabinet. And then on the way back from getting my paint in my hands, I have to go back over all of this equipment. So I really don't like that. If I had a path to it, it would be much better. But just can't a girl just get her own cabinet that she can just get right to in the garage? I mean, I'm not asking for too much space.
Thanks for opening up that can of worms, Jason.
Anyways, that made me mad.
Female Batman, I think you answered to driving the truck, but was it hard to get used to?
It was definitely a learning curve. I think we had driven it. Get out of there, please. My daughter's peeking her face. I had to drive it around the neighborhood just to get used to it, and then Brad made me drive it to the gas station. So the fastest I think I got in my neighborhood was 5 miles an hour. Because I'm just not used to driving a big truck like that. But it's really easy to drive. I mean, the visibility on it is excellent. It's easier than driving our van because you can see, and our van's so old it doesn't have a backup camera. So with the truck, at least I can see where I'm backing up. But you do have to watch out for things that I had no idea about. Like, for example, low-hanging trees. So Brad told me that the hydraulic system, there's part of it's on the top of the truck. So if something got hit by a tree, it could damage it tremendously. So now I have to be careful for that. But it's pretty easy. I mean, the other difficult part about it is if you're going, I'd say over 40, maybe between 40 and 55, which is the most that I go. The truck kind of goes left to right. It's hard to get it to go straight. So I have to really concentrate on just driving straight. I know that sounds terrible, but it's really difficult to just get in a straight line. And you're probably imagining me like going all over the road. That's not how it is. It's kind of like an IKEA cart where you're trying to get it to go straight, but it goes back and forth and you can't ever get it the right way. But I think I do an okay job. But other than that, it's not bad.
I think we've already answered Jared's questions. Do you like driving the truck, and is it easier to use now that you've used it for a while?
Yes, and to add on to that, I can back up by myself now. I don't have to have Brad telling me. I did used to have him get out, even though I have a backup camera, and tell me, okay, you need to turn this way, turn that way. But now I can do it on my own, and I feel good about it. So,
Arctic Wolf, if you've ever driven the truck and trailer, how different is it to the new trash truck? And can you find any differences from the truck and trailer that you wish were added to the trash truck?
I think I've already talked about how I dislike driving the truck and trailer. So it's night and day driving it. I mean, for the 5 minutes I did drive Brad's truck and trailer. For the trash truck, even though I only drive Monday, I still have to get a feel for it again, like when I pull out of the driveway. I guess I still am a little bit nervous, just pulling out of the driveway. I'm like, oh, do I remember how to do this from last week? But that goes away quickly as soon as I hit the stop sign and we're off.
She doesn't run into the stop sign.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't hit the stop sign.
Just to be clear, yeah.
That's not what she meant by hit. We'll close out this session with a question from our good friend Nathan King Overland. What's it like driving the truck? Which you've answered. This is a good question. Is Brad patient or impatient?
It depends. It depends on the day.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, I think he was more a mix of patient and impatient, but I was needing a lot more help. But he has grown more patient with me, I think, as I've gotten more confident at driving the truck. But his voice does tend to get a little bit louder when he's trying to explain something to me, and that makes me do whatever I'm doing worse. But I wouldn't necessarily call it impatient now that I'm looking back on it. It's just, he's just trying to get it fixed. Like, whatever the issue is, he's trying to help me to get it fixed or do what I need to do to get past it. So that's not being impatient. That's just trying to get it done. To be fair, sometimes I have forgotten to do the PTO.
I'm just sitting
And
back
he's
there
sitting there,
twiddling my thumb.
and I'm like looking around like for animals or something, and I'm like, oh, he hits the button. Oh, let me hit the PTO.
Kendall's trying to spot another rabbit in the next door neighbor's yard.
I am. This is another thing I forgot to mention earlier. I have to stop the truck right when I start to see the trash can on the camera. And sometimes I overshoot that. And so Brad's got to, take the trash can a couple extra more steps or whatever. And I wouldn't say that's an impatient thing, but I'm still trying to learn how to get that right. Like, I can't get it to where it's exactly where it needs to be to stop. I don't know if I'll ever get that right. I'm sorry.
She gets like 95% of them. All right. Well, that is your question and answer session with Kendall. Any closing words?
I don't know. Thank you guys so much for all these great questions. I was shocked to see how many people had responded and liked my photo. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it.
Yep. And now we'll go ahead and get into the weekly numbers. And I'm kind of talked out, so honestly, I'm just going to give you the information on text. Sorry if that's a cop-out. But over the next few seconds of video, you will see the client growth, the canned growth, the income, and all that good stuff. But anyways, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it.
Bye.
You sound so sad.
Bye.
So we just finished the route, and this is, I think, 3 weeks after Hurricane Debbie. So dirt roads around here, they're no good. Lots of people were like, well, try this for dirt roads, or what about this? It's just, to me, it's just not a good idea. Just fill your route with homes on pavement and you won't have to worry about it. Look at my wife driving that thing.